Okay, so you played for the Phoenix Suns for a year, and then you go to Orlando. Why only 1 year for the Suns?
That was an interesting year. I mean, I played a lot, I played well, but that was the year that Amari Stoudemire, that was kind of the end of their run, because they'd kind of developed a new style of basketball that kind of took the small ball, you know what I mean? Like we did it in Golden State. They mastered it with Nash, Amari, and Sean Marion. Sean Marion was gone. Amari Stoudemire almost gets his eye poked out, and we missed the playoffs for the first time. They hired Terry Porter at the beginning of the season. They fire him at All-Star break. That's like the fastest firing in NBA history. We get Alvin Gentry, and I guess we barely missed the playoffs. And the next one, just one of the guys to move. I guess they're trying to, move in a different direction. So then I'm off to Orlando.
Okay. Is that when the Kobe Flinch happened?
Yeah, that was it.
Tell me about that whole situation.
It was towards later in the year. Kobe and I have always obviously had a mutual respect for each other, and it goes back to when he first came to LA. I was at UCLA and he was younger, so he used to come up to UCLA and work out and play and whatnot. And it was just like, I would see like, this guy's 2 years older than me. Like, guy's the future. Like, you see how dope and talented he is. So it was just me kind of having a fascination with, okay, if I'm going to make the NBA, this is the kind of guy I'm going to have to guard. So I kind of just early on locked into that. And, so we just kind of had battles, kind of throughout my career. And I kind of think that's when it kind of came to a head. It was like late March going into the playoffs. These teams had played in the finals the year before when the Lakers had beat Orlando. So I came in the next year and we were expected to meet up in the finals again. And it was just a back and forth game. And one thing about Kobe is he's obviously physically gifted, but his mental approach to it is second to none. So he'll do all kinds of stuff to mentally fuck with you without saying a word. Grabbing you, elbowing you, cheap shotting you, just sneaky veteran shit that Kobe can get away with. And it just got to the point where they kept calling me for stuff, and it was really, I was kind of, doing something. I was retaliating most of the time, and I would get called. So it just came to a point where I'm like, fuck basketball, we're about to fight. You know what I mean? That's where like kind of my mental state it got. So when late in the game, when you see that play, if you look at me, I'm watching the whole play behind his head transpire, so I really don't even see his face. And I just ball fake. Like, I don't know where, it wasn't like, hey, I'm a ball fake this dude. Like, the shit just kind of happened by itself. It almost felt like I ball faked him. I didn't realize how close I came to his face or where his face was. But, I was looking at the play behind him. I was looking for Vince Carter on the back door. And it made NBA history.
Well, he didn't move at all.
He didn't flinch. He didn't even blink.
All. He didn't breathe.
He's a killer, man.
He's a machine.
He's a killer, but right after that, my situation fell through in Orlando with Stan Van Gundy and things being said and done where it didn't work out. I was actually supposed to go to Toronto for a multi-year deal, but then Kobe hit me up one day on the phone and asked me what I was doing. I just kind of told him I was up in the air. I was also talking to Pat Riley at the time because that's when LeBron was heading to Miami. So he was breaking down to me that, the crunch time lineup was going to be me, LeBron, D. Wade, Mike Miller. Damn, who was the fifth? It was somebody else. This is the crunch time. This is, we can win a championship with this. And I fully believed in him. But my whole thing is I've been a Laker fan my whole life, and the fact that Kobe called me up like, anyone crazy enough to fuck with me is crazy enough to play with me. I'm just like, shit, I got to go back to Cali and play with Kobe. So that's what I did.
Yeah, I remember when I interviewed John Sally recently. And him and Kobe know each other, obviously. And he said that Kobe went to the NBA straight out of high school, back when you could actually do that, because he wanted to play against Jordan. He knew at that point that he was going to be one of the greats. And if he didn't play Jordan one-on-one, well, not one-on-one, but in a game, even though this was Jordan's like last year or whatever in the league, that people are going to say, oh, well, he's not better than Jordan. So he, as an 18 or a 17-year-old, he already knew this was about to happen in the future.
I remember when I asked him, I said, why you didn't go to Duke? Why didn't you go to college? Like, you just knew you were good enough for the pros? He said, no, I heard Michael was retiring. I wanted to play with him and against him.
Oh, that's why Kobe went straight out of high school?
Smartest thing in the world.
So he could play Jordan.
He was a sicko. Kobe, I've never played, and I've got a chance to play with Allen Iverson and Chris Paul, and some of these guys that are insane competitors, but never no one like Kobe. The shit I saw him play through, and in his personal life and physically playing through, and just his will to always be the greatest and expect the most out of us. It was a special time to always battle against him and then finally play with him.
I mean, when you heard Kobe say that he would have won whatever 12 championships if Shaq wasn't so lazy, and you played with both,
Right.
what's your take on that statement?
I think if they could have stayed together, there's no telling how many they would have won. There's no telling. I think definitely another 2 or 3, possibly, because they were the two. They were fire and ice. Shaq was the dominant middle presence at the time, which the game was still in need of, and then Kobe was unstoppable on the wing. And then they had a great coach, and then they had a bunch of great role players that fit that system perfectly. So there's no telling, how many championships they could have won. But when it gets back and forth to the finger pointing and whose fault and who got who traded, I only like to speak on shit I was around. You know what I mean? So from the outside looking, obviously I was still there, but I don't really know what was what. So I'd always heard Kobe's this, Kobe's that. But then, when we finally got a chance to become teammates and talk to him and see him on a day-to-day basis, Kobe's cool as shit.